Anthony Edwards walks into every game like he owns it. He doesn't flinch, doesn't hesitate, and doesn't defer. He plays with the kind of confidence that borders on arrogance, the kind we've only seen in generational stars. He talks trash to MVPs, calls himself the best player in the world.
Who's the best player in the NBA?
Me.
If it's you, then who's number 2?
Who number 2? I'm gonna go with Cat.
And demands the ball when the moment is biggest. But behind all the bravado is something real, a fire that doesn't turn off. Edwards plays angry, not at anyone in particular, but at the idea of being less than great. Every dunk is violent, every bucket is personal. That killer instinct the legends had? He's got it, and he knows it. The league has taken notice. In just a few years, Ant has gone from highlight reel rookie to all-star leader. Coaches respect him, veterans fear him, and fans, they're divided. Is he the next icon or just the next loud voice? Either way, no one can ignore him anymore. But the question we're asking isn't about talent or attitude. It's deeper. Can that killer instinct, that MJ-like edge, actually carry him to a lasting legacy? Because in the NBA, being great in moments isn't enough. You have to be legendary across years.
The legs would catch up a little bit.
Anthony Edwards!
Anthony Edwards wasn't always a basketball prodigy. Growing up in Atlanta, he wanted to play in the NFL. He had the speed, the strength, and the obsession with greatness. But a shift happened when he was just 14. He watched his older brother play basketball, and something clicked. The rhythm, the challenge, the one-on-one battles. He fell in love. Within months, Edwards committed himself fully to basketball. He trained relentlessly, sharpened his skills, and quickly rose through the ranks. By high school, he was dominating the Georgia prep scene, putting up video game numbers and drawing comparisons to Dwyane Wade, and even a young Kobe Bryant. His college journey at Georgia was short but telling. He was raw, explosive but inconsistent, confident but still learning how to lead. Scouts saw flashes of greatness but also signs of immaturity. Still, the ceiling was too high to ignore. He was the #1 pick in the 2020 NBA draft, going to a franchise starving for a face, the Minnesota Timberwolves.
With the first pick in the 2020 NBA draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Anthony Edwards from the University of Georgia.
And when he got there, the expectations were heavy. Minnesota hadn't seen sustained success since Kevin Garnett. And while Karl Anthony Towns was supposed to be the savior, the results never matched the talent. Edwards wasn't just a top pick. He was Minnesota's new hope. But the question remained, was he ready to lead?
Has it right now. Hachimura wearing another kind of mask. He took it in hot 9!
Edwards' rookie season was electric and confusing. He dropped 42 points on the Suns. He dunked over defenders like he was in a video game. He gave viral press conference quotes, joked about everything, and carried himself like he belonged. But underneath the swagger, his game was inconsistent. There were off nights, defensive lapses, and questions about whether he cared about winning. Many wrote him off as another flashy young scorer who loved the spotlight more than the grind. But Edwards wasn't just putting on a show, he was adapting. He came into the league without the structure or polish that other top picks had, and on a team without a winning culture, he was learning on the fly. Still, he made one thing clear. He was never afraid. Whether it was going at LeBron, barking at veterans, or taking the final shot, Edwards wasn't here to blend in. He wanted to own the moment, and that mindset, while raw, was rare. Even when his skills weren't there yet, his mindset screamed franchise player. Over time, the numbers started catching up to the noise. He improved every year, more efficient, more locked in defensively, more vocal. And by the time his second season ended, it was clear. Anthony Edwards wasn't a joke. He was becoming a problem. The real shift happened in 2023 during Team USA training camp. Surrounded by all-stars, future Hall of Famers, and elite young talent, it wasn't Edwards who looked overwhelmed. It was everyone else trying to keep up with him. Reports started pouring in. Ant was dominating scrimmages, taking over games, and emerging as the alpha. That experience changed him. When he returned to Minnesota, he played like a man on a mission. He was more aggressive, more disciplined, and more vocal. He took over the Wolves, not just with points, but with presence. He set the tone defensively, demanded accountability, and refused to let the team fall back into old habits. Karl Anthony Towns was still on the roster, but the baton had clearly been passed. Anthony Edwards was now the heart and soul of the Timberwolves. He played both ends, took on the toughest matchups, and craved the big moments. He wasn't just the future, he was right now. But with that power came pressure. Minnesota hadn't made a deep playoff run in years. The Western Conference was brutal, and now, every mistake, every exit, every missed shot, they'd fall on him. The spotlight he craved was finally his. The question was, could he handle the heat? Here's where it gets real. Every great young player eventually hits the wall, the one where talent and charisma aren't enough anymore. It's the part of the story where the league demands more than potential. It demands results. And for Anthony Edwards, that wall is approaching fast. The Western Conference isn't forgiving. Luka is putting up historic playoff numbers. Jokic is rewriting how a center can dominate. Tatum is knocking on the finals door every year. And guys like Ja Morant and Zion, players drafted alongside Ant, are still fighting for control of their narratives. The window for young and promising doesn't stay open forever. To build a legacy, you don't just have to be great, you have to win. You have to carry a franchise when it matters most. You have to rise when others shrink, and you have to do it not once, but again, and again, and again. That's what separates the talented from the immortal. Edwards has the tools, the hunger, the mentality. But until he starts stacking playoff wins, reaching conference finals, or carrying teams through adversity, his legacy remains potential, not proof. The killer instinct got him here. The question now is, can it take him all the way? The NBA has seen this story before. A young star with swagger, stats, and sky-high confidence. But not all of them became legends. Some became cautionary tales. Others faded into what-if conversations. Because in this league, the margin between greatness and irrelevance is razor-thin. Anthony Edwards is standing at a crossroads. One path leads to rings, MVP talks, and a name etched in NBA history. The other leads to empty highlights, annual playoff exits, and a legacy that never fully formed. He has the killer instinct, but so did dozens of stars who never won anything that mattered. If he wants to be remembered with the Kobes, the LeBrons, the Wades, he has to win. Not just impress, not just entertain, but dominate. When it counts, when it's hard, when everything is on the line. Because that's what legacy demands. So here's the final question. Will Anthony Edwards turn that killer instinct into a legendary career? Or will he become the loudest voice in a generation that never broke through?
Driving. Oh!